Good morning. I'm Mr. Wilkerson. I am your school social worker here at North Cobb High School, and I want to welcome you to Tomahawk Today. Today's show is a show that is of a sensitive nature. It may resonate some emotional feelings. It may resonate some thoughts that have been forgotten. Should that happen, there's three things that I need for you to do. Number one, I need you to be sensitive. I need you to be compassionate. And number three, I need you to be a source of strength for that individual. With that being said, I need you to walk that individual or guide that individual to our guidance department, and we are ready to serve you. With that being said, I want you to enjoy our presentation for today.
When I was a kid, I used to think that pork chops and karate chops were the same thing. I thought they were both pork chops. And because my grandmother thought it was cute, and because they were my favorite, she let me keep doing it. Not really a big deal. One day, before I realized fat kids are not designed to climb trees, I fell out of a tree and bruised the right side of my body. I didn't want to tell my grandmother about it because I was scared I'd get in trouble for playing somewhere I shouldn't have been. A few days later, the gym teacher noticed the bruise and I got sent to the principal's office. From there, I was sent to another small room with a really nice lady who asked me all kinds of questions about my life at home. I saw no reason to lie. As far as I was concerned, life was pretty good. I told her whenever I'm sad, my grandmother gives me karate chops. This led to a full-scale investigation, and I was removed from the house for 3 days, until they finally decided to ask how I got the bruises. News of this silly little story quickly spread through the school, and I earned my first nickname, Pork Chop. To this day, I hate pork chops. I'm not the only kid who grew up this way. Surrounded by people who used to say that rhyme about sticks and stones. As if broken bones hurt more than the names we got called, and we got called them all. So we grew up believing no one would ever fall in love with us. That we'd be lonely forever. That we'd never meet someone to make us feel like the sun was something they built for us in their tool shed. So broken heartstrings bled the blues as we tried to empty ourselves so we would feel nothing. Don't tell me that hurts less than a broken bone. That an ingrown life is something surgeons can cut away, that there's no way for it to metastasize, it does. She was 8 years old. Our first day of grade 3 when she got called ugly. We both got moved to the back of class so we would stop getting bombarded by spitballs. But the school halls were a battleground where we found ourselves outnumbered day after wretched day. We used to stay inside for recess because outside was worse. Outside, we'd have to rehearse running away or learn to stay still like statues, giving no clues that we were there in grade 5. They taped a sign to the front of her desk that read, "Beware of dog." To this day, despite a loving husband, she doesn't think she's beautiful because of a birthmark that takes up a little less than half her face. Kids used to say she looks like a wrong answer that someone tried to erase but couldn't quite get the job done. And they'll never understand that she's raising 2 kids whose definition of beauty begins with the word mom. Because they see her heart before they see her skin. Because she's only ever always been amazing. He was a broken branch grafted onto a different family tree. Adopted. Not because his parents opted for a different destiny. He was 3 when it became a mixed drink of 1 part left alone and 2 parts tragedy. Started therapy in 8th grade, had a personality made up of tests and pills, lived like the uphills were mountains and the downhills were cliffs, 4/5 suicidal, a tidal wave of antidepressants, and an adolescence being called pauper. 1 part because of the pills, 99 parts because of the cruelty. He tried to kill himself in grade 10 when a kid who could still go home to mom and dad had the audacity to tell him, "Get over it." As if depression is something that can be remedied by any of the contents found in a first aid kit. To this day, he is a stick of TNT lit from both ends. Could describe to in detail the way the sky bends in the moments before it's about to fall. And despite an army of friends who all call him an inspiration, he remains a conversation piece between people who can't understand. Sometimes being drug-free has less to do with addiction and more to do with sanity. We weren't the only kids who grew up this way. To this day, kids are still being called names. The classics were "Hey Stupid," "Hey Spaz." Seems like every school has an arsenal of names getting updated every year. And if a kid breaks in a school and no one around chooses to hear, do they make a sound? Or they're just background noise from a soundtrack stuck on repeat when people say things like kids can be cruel? Every school was a big top circus tent, and the pecking order went from acrobats to lion tamers, from clowns to carnies. All of these miles ahead of who we were freaks. Lobster claw boys and bearded ladies. Oddities juggling depression and loneliness, playing solitaire, spin the bottle, trying to kiss the wounded parts of ourselves and heal. But at night, while the others slept, we kept walking the tightrope. It was practice, and yes, some of us fell. But I want to tell them that all of this is just debris left over when we finally decide to smash all the things we thought we used to be. And if you can't see anything beautiful about yourself, get a better mirror. Look a little closer. Stare a little longer. Because there's something inside you that made you keep trying despite everyone who told you to quit. You built a cast around your broken heart and signed it yourself. You signed it. They were wrong. Because maybe you didn't belong to a group or a clique. Maybe they decided to pick you last for basketball or everything. Maybe you used to bring bruises and broken teeth to show and tell but never told. Because how can you hold your ground if everyone around you wants to bury you beneath it? You have to believe that they were wrong. They have to be wrong. Why else would we still be here? We grew up learning to cheer on the underdog because we see ourselves in them. We stem from a root planted in the belief that we are not what we were called. We are not abandoned cars stalled out and sitting empty on some highway. And if in some way we are, don't worry. We only got out to walk and get gas. We are graduating members from the class of "We made it." Not the faded echoes of voices crying out names will never hurt me. Of course, they did. But our lives will only ever always continue to be a balancing act that has less to do with pain and more to do with beauty.
Powerful, wasn't it? We all have hurts, habits, and hang-ups that we deal with on a daily basis. Perhaps you were pork chop. Perhaps you were the individual that made an assumption and did not ask any questions. Perhaps you were the individual that was abused. You were the individual that was mistreated. You were the individual that was the laughter of somebody else's joke. Perhaps you've been bullied. Well, here's what I want you to do. Number one, I need you to look into the mirror. Go ahead, look into the mirror, hold your head up, and look into the mirror. Here's what you should see. You should see an individual that have taken their critics' best punch, and you're still standing. You should see an individual that, although everybody around them seemed to be ugly, mistreating them, you are still beautiful. You should see an individual that is a source of strength. With that said, don't forget, if you need us, if you need any support whatsoever, your amazing social worker and our awesome counseling staff is ready to serve you.
As you can tell, this week's episode of Tomahawk Today is a little different. It ties into our Sources of Strength Week, and the overarching theme of our show is beauty.
To give you a better idea of what a source of strength is, we'll have a look at some of the things our classmates see as their sources.
But before we do, let's take a look at what you can do to be someone's strength. So what exactly is a source of strength? It's a person or activity that you can turn to for support and for taking your mind away from the struggles of life.
Sources of strength can be anything from a workout to a trusted teacher, but most importantly, they will always be there. Here are some of the things your friends are using as their source of strength.
My main source of strength was definitely my family, my friends, and of course my trust in God, because I needed all the strength that I can get. I'm a very strong person myself, but along with the help of my family and my friends, and of course God, I made it through. Made it through all my radiation treatment, all the pain, and being completely exhausted, but somehow I made it through it. So I'm here now.
My source of strength is my friends.
My biggest source of strength is music.
My source of strength would probably have to be either my athletics or my family and friends. They mean a lot to me.
I would say my main source of strength is God.
My friends and my family.
My source of strength is music.
I would have to say my family.
My source of strength is my friends.
My top source of strength has to be track and field.
My biggest source of strength is my music.
My biggest source of strength is God.
My biggest sources of strength are my 70 teammates that I call my brothers.
Family.
Friends.
God. Family and friends.
God.
70 teammates
Friends.
that I call my brothers.
Family.
Friends.
Music.
God.
It's great to see the variety of activities and people that our classmates are using to find strength.
Some people turn to friends and family, others to faith. Some students look inside and use their creativity, as is the case with the student in this next video.
So, Sophia, what is your source of strength?
Definitely my drawing. It's a really good way to just put my thoughts on paper, and rather than saying what I have to say, I can just draw something and show it to someone, and they'll basically get what I'm trying to say or whatever I'm thinking.
One of the best sources of strength you can have is yourself. Knowing that you are special and that you are unique goes a long way to improving your outlook on life. For starters, just know that there is beauty all around you and in you.
To encourage that, we are ending today's show with a look at some of the beauty of North Cobb. It's certainly not exhaustive, but it's a great start.
Little girl 14 flipping through a magazine, says she wants to look that way. But her hair isn't straight, her body isn't fake, and she's always felt overweight. Well, little girl 14, I wish that you could see the beauty is within your heart. And you were made with such care, your skin, your body, and your hair are perfect just the way they are. There can never be a more beautiful you. And hoops that make you jump through. You were made to fill a purpose that only you could do. So there could never be a more beautiful you. the plan only once, what you'll do instead. Well, little girl 21, you never thought this would come. You starve yourself to play the part. But I can promise you there's a man whose love is true, and he'll treat you like the jewel you are. There can never be a more beautiful you. Don't buy the lies, disguises, and hoops that make you jump through. You were made to fill a purpose that only you could do. So there could never be a more beautiful you. More beautiful you. So turn around, you're not too far to back away. Be who you are, to change your path, go another way. It's not too late, you can be saved. If you feel depressed with past regrets, the shameful nights, hope to forget can disappear.